Hi everyone, my name is Mia and I'm from Mia's House of Stain, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use a medium called Pinchie powder. Pinchie powder is a powder that you mix with unicorn spit and it thickens the paint, the stain, the glaze, whatever you want to call it, because it could be used as many things. It makes it real thick so that when you use it with a stencil, you don't have any bleed through. So if you're unfamiliar with unicorn spit is a gel stain and glaze all in one. It comes in literally a rainbow of colors. This is Pixie Punk Pink from Unicorn Spit. This is part of the first line that came out. In prototype right now, they have the metallics. The metallics come in silver, gold, bronze, ancient bronze, rose gold, a whole bunch of other colors. These are prototypes right now, so they're packaged and labeled a little bit differently. These are packaged by Artistic Vivations, and you can see the little unicorn all the way up at the top. And once I guess they're done testing them, they'll be put into unicorn spit bottles once they are regularly manufactured. They also have another line of pearls that are in prototype right now. So they come also in a whole bunch of colors. These are not all the colors are available yet on her website. Only I think 1 or 2 of them. Then we have Unicorn Spit Sparkling. Now they're all non-toxic, non-VOC. They smell like, the metallics smell like teak wood. I want to say that the regular ones smell like jasmine. Each line has their own scent and they smell amazing. So you can use them over existing paint. You can use them on metal. You can use them as a stain with wood. You can dilute them, I want to say like 50 to 70%. So what I did was I made a bunch of boards. I made a bunch of these for like Thanksgiving and fall, and they're really pretty. You can see the wood grain in them. This one I did the other day. This one has in it metallics, sparkling, and regular. And there's some black. This board I did a little bit of wood burning underneath it. When you seal them, they become very, very bright and vibrant, almost like a glassy kind of finish. This was another board that I did. My lighting's not great, but this was another board. So after she created all these stains, just recently she came out with a powder called Pinchie powder. Like I said, Pinchie powder just thickens your paint, and it makes it real easy to work with. So I'm going to experiment today with using Pinchie powder, but I'm going to use it with a brush. All the videos that I've seen so far, they use it with either a business card or one of these scraper kind of things. I didn't have much success with the scraper. It kind of, I didn't really have control over where the Pinchie powder was going. So I don't want to have to clean up around the stencils, so I'm going to do it with a paintbrush because I feel like I have a little more control over it. And I'm just going to grab a plastic spoon. So I added a tiny bit of water to the Pinchie powder just now. If it gets thick, you can add water to it. I mixed this yesterday. This is 2 colors. It's the ancient bronze and the gold mixed together. It's just a 50-50 mix. I wanted something that was kind of subtle and that blended with all the colors on the board. And you can see what that looks like there. So some of my stencils are stick-on stencils and the other ones are not stick-on. So the stick-on ones are the letters. And I already have all my stencils in place on the board, as you can see. I didn't want to bore you with my indecisiveness. So I'm just going to see where this goes. I'm just kind of like painting it on. I trimmed up my stencils big time because I needed to overlap them on this board the way that I wanted to lay the letters out. The only thing I'll say about doing it this way with a brush is I think that we're going to waste a lot more than if we were using the scraper. But if you're working with stencils that you cut, that you don't really have a lot of room to play with on the edges, this will work. It might also give it a textured look from the brush strokes. My leaves are not adhered. It seems to be working pretty good though. Now I'm just wiping back all the excess. these stencils with the letters are like foliage. They're like these little tiny leaves. They have little tiny flowers in them. So it's a lot of little cutout holes. So it's not like applying paint to a regular lettered stencil. There's a lot of little grooves that you got to make sure to get in. And these stencils are actually, I thought they were pretty thick. I'm gonna just water it down a little bit. Whenever your Pinchie powder gets thick too, if it gets too thick, just like with the unicorn spit, you can add water to it, mix it up, and it reactivates itself. So there's really no waste. If you see my paint trays from the unicorn spit, I let it dry in there, and the next time I need that color, I just hit it with a spray bottle, and it reactivates. So yeah, that's a little better. It was feeling a little thick to go on with the brush. Almost done with the thanks. So the board says give thanks, because this is like I made 4 boards. So far I've stenciled 1. And it's like a little Thanksgiving fall kind of array of wall decor. Alright, that was the K. And now we're on the S, and then I will take these stencils off and show you what it looks like. Almost done. I thought about putting some music on in the background, but I don't know. I think YouTube is funny about music, that you don't have permission to play in your videos, right? So I decided against it. All right. I think that we are in business. These metallics smell like teak wood, and this is my favorite smell out of all the different lines that are out right now. All right, let's see how it worked with the brush. Again, if you remember, I said these were sticky stencils, self-adhering stencils. Yeah. What is going on here? All right, there we go. So far, so good. All right. So, again, my lighting's not the greatest, but it says thanks. And then the other one's gonna say give, and then I'm gonna put a bunch of foliage down the side of the board. And this, the best thing with this Pinchie powder is because the stains are water-based. If your board is sealed from whatever stain or paint you put underneath it, and you get a little extra unicorn spit somewhere on the board, you can just take a damp cloth and you can wipe it right off. So you won't have to, if you're using, say, acrylic paints underneath, you won't have to pull out your paints and be like, oh, how did I mix that color again? And have to touch up. Real easy, really, really easy to touch up when you use unicorn spit. But again, remember, if you use spit underneath the board has to be sealed. Because if it's not, the colors will self-activate. You mix them together and they'll just blend together. And again, this is not bleed through that I'm wiping down right now. This is where I went over the edge of the stencil with the Pinchie powder. Because I cut my stencils real close to the actual letter. That way I can get the word thanks on this board. So, but it looks really, really cool. And I think I'm gonna leave the give for last, and I'm gonna throw these up on here. And we'll start with the one on top. So this is not anything like a stencil cream. You're not going to be like applying it in a stippling type manner like you do with stencil creams. This is unicorn spit mixed with Pinchie powder. And it's quite thick. Not quite thick, but it's thicker than stencil cream, and it doesn't move. Like once you get it on there, it's on there. So it's easy to stencil and not have bleed through. It's like a paste almost. Today's the first day I'm ever using Pinchie powder. So I did a board on my Facebook page right before I started this video. And so this is my second time, my second project, I should say, using Pinchie powder. And I'm doing my brush strokes. I'm just trying to almost make the strokes look like the veins in the leaves. Awesome. Somebody wants to come inside. Of course he does. Because I can't stop right now. I find the bigger the stencil, sometimes the harder they are to work with. I shifted the stencil just a tiny bit when I picked it up. I actually really like the brush strokes in the leaves. I touched the S. Okay, here's the good part. I can just wipe it off. I did that twice today. I don't know if you can see that. See there. You could see the brush strokes there. So before I move on to the give, I'm gonna take the S off because I just touched it with my finger and I smeared it. So you get to see firsthand how easy it is to fix your mistakes. I did that earlier too. I touched the leaf with the spreader over there. And I had to take the whole leaf off. But if we were working with acrylic paints, we wouldn't be able to do that. So this is why I say it's such an amazing product. And this is still wet. Parts of the stencil. awesome. Right? Alright, so again, I'm doing this with a brush and not with a scraper because I trimmed the stencils really, really close to the letters. And the stencils are letters that are made up of tiny holes in the pattern of foliage. And it was very hard to not go outside of the stencil using a card or a scraper. So I said, well, so much more control with a brush over where your paint goes. So I said, I am going to attempt using Pinchie powder with a brush. What's the worst thing that can happen? It's terrible. And I get my spray bottle out and some paper towels, and guess what? I wipe it off. And I start from the beginning. So it's one of the reasons why this stuff is so amazing. And the board itself, underneath the letters, I stained with, the yellow is called Lemon Kiss, the green is called Dragon's Belly, the red is called Molly Red Pepper, and then I used two browns. One is called Squirrel, that's the lighter one, and the other one is called Rustic Reality, that's the darker. And I used another color. Oh, I used the orange. In the orange, I don't use orange very often, so I can't remember the name of it. But I just took all the colors of the season and blended them together. So it's taking a little bit longer because you gotta make sure you get all these little tiny holes filled with the Pinchie powder. And this stencil is actually on the thicker side. I don't know how many millimeters it is. I'm not sure. It's thicker than the leaves that I just worked with. Those leaves were actually pretty thin. All right. Let's close up. This Pinchie powder. I'm gonna squirt a little bit of water in there to get that off the sides. All right, let me put these brushes down. So, and I made my little Pinchie powder in a mason jar, and it's probably the best way to store it because they're airtight. I'm gonna attempt to remove the S again. Stencils as thick as this They sure are hard to get off. All right, let's go back to that one. Take the E off. Yeah, this is the part that I don't like about letters. I don't like trying to pull them up. Let's see. So this Pinchie powder in here is just like this white powder. It comes with a little measuring spoon. I was gonna see if the edge of the measuring spoon was thin enough to pick up the corner of the stencil, but it's not. But, let's see. This is, I have something. Hi. I'm gonna use my Cricut tools. Why didn't I think of that before? Right? Almost. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, 1 minute. It's my big baby out there. Wow. Awesome. It looks great. I'll show you how awesome it looks. Give thanks and some flowers. And then when it dries, I'll hit it with some polyurethane. See how pretty that wood grain is right by the G? These colors are amazing. So if you have any questions, comment below and I will do as best as I can to answer them. I will also post a link to michelleniccols.com if you're interested in trying any of her unicorn spit colors or her prototype metallics. She's got a bunch of other cool stuff on there like Klingon brushes and all kinds of sealers. I will post my affiliate link underneath, and feel free to drop any comments if you have questions. Thanks, bye.